All right, welcome back. Imager loading in the background. Yes, I'd like to play first, and 1 second, I gotta stop all that. Okay, I stopped two of them, and now my phone is ringing. Let's just silence that. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan to six. This hand is not like the other ones that were actually decent. I'm gonna keep this one though. As you can see, we have lands of many colors, so we can celebrate the Festival of Nations as well as the different things. Sure. I don't know. I think he's asking me if I want to play or split. I'm gonna just say play and split. I'm not too worried if I do lose this. He wants the QP, so give me 1 second. Okay, so he wants the QP, but he's in another event, so he doesn't want to actually have to do the whole double Q thing and like suck up time that way. Whereas I'm recording, so I'm going to eat up time this way, and if he plays it, he wants to just play it out, which is fine. I mean, that is something that's allowed. So, yeah. We're having a little bit of a connection problem. I'm going to go restart my router. Alright, let's hope that 20 minutes is enough. We're just going to be flying through this as best I can tell. We're getting Bayou. Bayou is so that we can use birds, as well as having the secondary black mana up. Our opponent may be doing something else. He's at a lucky time of being able to burn me out for 10 minutes without doing much of anything else. Hopefully this works out. If our opponent's playing a Sneak and Show variant, hopefully he's getting a non-basic and then we can waste him next turn. He is not. It looks like he is playing a Sneak Show variant. We don't have anything else to do on his turn. I'm not going to F6 because I don't remember if I did already. So, yeah. We'll find out here in a moment. I did not. Ponder. So he is playing a Sneak and Show variant. Ponder is a card that belongs in combo decks. He might be playing Tess or Ant. Also possibly Tin Fins, although I haven't seen very many of the lists play that. So just a thingy there. I am going to go ahead and drop that. We're going to Thoughtseize first because I may need to get something out of his hand. Also, Omniscience is another deck that's able to be done like that. I'm assuming our opponent probably just needs 1 or 2 QPs in order to actually qualify. I don't care enough. If you're wondering how many QPs I have, probably enough, probably not enough. Not doing well in the Legacy dailies. I do play other things, though. So, yeah. This is all going on his time. I'm assuming he's got a Force of Will from that, in which case we're going to hope to either get it with this or with this, preferably with this. Actually, no, preferably with this. I just don't want to have it turn out to be a Daze that is what he's got. We're also running with lots of non-basics, so if our opponent's playing Blood Moon, that's a whole other thing. Had a quick pause there to see if I was actually recording and whatnot. We are actually waiting on our opponent for this one. Reminder, our opponent is double queued. Our opponent did offer the split. Unfortunately, we did not have the ability to give that. Looks like our opponent is playing this. Not to say this in a bad way, but it is this. I would take one of the 2 other cards. It is a Show and Tell variant, and I would take one of the 2 other cards, except for it's not going to matter too much. Here comes the Ancient Tomb. As long as it's not a Show and Tell on top of his deck, which I don't actually remember if my opponent did, but we do have the Wasteland to be able to deal a little bit more, and that is actually kind of painful. Let's go ahead and blow that up. We're going to get that down. We're going to do it this way. We'll get the Sword of Fire and Ice. That'll give us a little bit more card draw. We can actually hook it up. F6 and F6 again. I guess that one didn't take. We have no real other plans for our opponent. We have they have their Force of Will. We can force them to draw 14 cards. We're just going to go ahead and F4, which I don't know why F4 isn't working. Okay, so it got back to me. Goody goody gumdrops. We are now a land short, but we can get this Liliana online, which I'm actually expecting the Liliana to get forced. Otherwise, he has enough stuff. Yeah, I figured as much. I'm going to get rid of the swords. And I know I could be doing this wrong, but he's got to find something first. We're going to be able to do 3. I'm hoping to draw another land here shortly. That has been the name of the game, is draw a land. And there we go. We need to draw land before he draws something. And if we get another... Oh, that's kind of awkward. If we get another land, we can pop in the fire and ice. Yay, there's another land. We're going to go ahead and discard this land because it is your land and my land. We'll be able to get in for 6. We're just going to keep on this process. Hopefully we draw some discard along the lines of Thoughtseize. I'm hoping that that Brainstorm actually did cause a huge problem for him. So far, it doesn't look to be so. He's drawn 2 cards, which would have been the cards that he would have gotten from the Brainstorm. I take that back. Those would have been the cards that he put back. The next card would have been the last card that he would have drawn. If that's a show and tell, we saved ourselves a little bit of time, but not much. We are cruising right along here. We're in turn 3, turn 4. We missed a land drop. Turn 3 or turn 4. So we are doing pretty well there. Another quick check there. Not much changes outside of where my mouse location is for those, so yeah, we'll do that. If he doesn't have anything to do, then I would recommend that he actually just F6. Let's go ahead and grab this one. We'll activate you. This gets us in for more damage, and it is the additional 4 damage from the Batterskull. Yes, I'd like to use this ability, put that out there. Equip to the Bob. And then we'll F6 again, because Bob's the only one going in. There we go. And the damage is going there. Alright, so we have a Sylvan Library coming up. Hopefully, that doesn't look good. Ponders are not what I want him to be playing. That being said, we have the Liliana. We have, this is 6 damage, 7. We don't have lethal yet, but we do have the ability to force him to sacrifice. That one's not going to be as much help. If he didn't find it, he didn't find it. If he did, he did. I think I've F6'd at this point. It doesn't matter if I did or did not. We should be okay. We get to attack in. Okay, so he conceded this game. He is a Sneak Show variant. He is not the Omnitel from what I can see. So, what we want to be able to do is steal those. We want to be able to attack his hand. We want to be able to blow it up. Kitchen Finks will actually be good. This will be good. Thrun, not so much. Let's take a look through here. Don't really worry too much about this portion of it. Decays are also not going to be too amazing here. The Stoneforge Mystics are not going to be the nuts. We're going to keep Sigarda. We're going to keep that. Pretty much just allowing for situations. I'm going to drop one more Stoneforge Mystic, and we'll go from there. So, yeah. I could throw out the Thalias and toss those in here over the Finks. That may actually and does sound like a better play, and that's just because the Thalias will force all of his spells to cost 1 more. So, bang. But the main thing that we want to do is be able to hit the sneak attacks and the show and tells with surgical extractions out of their graveyard. So I don't want him actually getting them. I could probably slow down a little bit and try and explain a little bit better. We do have some of the tools that we were looking for. I'm going to keep this hand. It looks pretty good. We're going to go first turn Thoughtseize, second turn. Actually, I could go, yeah, first turn Thoughtseize. Well, depending on what he does here. Let's see. He can't go sneak attack unless he has a pedal. If he does go sneak attack, it's kind of a problem. So, it is my turn 1. We're waiting on him. He's got to stop during my upkeep, which is awkward. But between the two of these, I think I want to go this one just so that I have it down. And then from there, we'll go into Thalia and Thoughtseize him, or into Thoughtseize and then Thalia. And that should slow him down a little bit more. We can go into Knight from there. Knight will be pretty large, and we can just kind of smash face, hopefully. We'll be able to do quite a bit of it. name of the game is, again, fetch basics. I'm going to get this basic first and pop that down. This one can grab a white. Looks like he's got a spell pierce of some kind. Or a daze. Brainstorm. Brainstorm hides things. Would have rather had a way to stop him from hiding stuff. We could be in trouble here. A Thoughtseize of his own. Thoughtseize of his own. Alright, so we now have his Misty that we can use, and we can pop out this Thoughtseize and this Thalia. We'll be able to get this Thalia off of that right there. He may actually take the Knight because it's our only... Nope, he took the Thoughtseize. And a fetch. I should just F6. Yep, there's a Preordain. Remember, he's still not out of the woods. I think that we waste him off of the red source, though. There are more things that he's going to be doing with that than anything. So for right now, we're going to get a white, pop her down, and we'll wasteland him off of the red. And then we'll go. So while I would have preferred to have actually dealt a little bit more, we actually have something that could cause a problem for him. Yep. There's a Pyroclasm. We have a Bob, as we know. So let's go ahead and pop this. Fetch out this basic plains. Get this Bob down. And he's only got 2 cards in hand. So if he's got like Show and Tell and a Dude, we have an answer for the most part. We do need to be aware that there are things that he can do to kind of create rough situations for us. We have 2 of our colors. None of them are forests. This forest can turn into a real forest or into a horizon canopy, which actually seems a little bit better once we have a knight that's active. Pyroclasms won't take care of knights, so yeah. I think we've slowed him down quite a bit. Our knights will be 1, 2, 3 land in the yard. And we can actually turn these into wastelands, which wasting this is more important than this. He's got to look to find the... we were trying to think of Sylvan Scrying, or the other one, the other scrying spell, and we couldn't think of the name of it the other day, so we just called it Post Scry. He does need a Show and Tell in order to get this to work, and he does need a red source for it. So, yeah, Liliana is going to be phenomenal if we can get that to happen. He doesn't know that we have the second knight. I don't think he knows that we have the third land. The pulse isn't exactly what I want him to see. We'll pop this just because it'll get the shuffle effect and the extra land out. While he's drawing cards, we're filtering. And yeah, probably should have swung first, got the damage in. Daze, that's fine. It puts him back a mana. We can deal with that next turn. He still doesn't know that we have this other one, and we'll be able to get that hopefully in a better situation. If he does have like land Show and Tell into, we can try and get him with this because he's already used the daze and shouldn't have up a spell pierce one way or another. We did get him to pop the Petal. We got him to blow the Pyroclasm. We're sitting pretty well. Looks like he didn't have anything there. Hopefully discard. No discard. There's no Teagues in order for me to abuse that, but I can do this. Let's get in here with this first. Alright. And there's the knight. Next turn we can start wasting him off of colors. If this is... What do you got for me? Here's a Show and Tell. We got a land. He's got Omniscience. Dang it. He's got Jace. Jace is not the end of the game. We could have gone for I didn't think he was this, though. We could have gone for Pride Mage. Now that we know that he is that, that'll be helpful. Dang it. Crystal Brand. You gotta get it. Okay, and the Emrakul. Alright. That'll do. So he is the, that one. So we are pretty much just aiming at the one thing. Let's go ahead and sort this real quick. Anything that we want to do that would actually be helpful? Not really. Nothing up there really screams at me. So let's get back in here with our variation. Excuse me. Probably should have Green Sun Zenith for the Pride Mage. If he goes Show and Tell, we Show and Tell in the night. We get to pop the Pride Mage at it. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Even if it is the other one, because we would have had enough permanents for the knight to survive. His creature would have died, and I think we would have still been able to pop the Pride Mage at the Show and Tell, so only one creature could have come across, and Emrakul was the only one that would have been lethal. So that's my bad. We may lose this because of that. Come on. Right now we're just kind of waiting on him to submit. And this is the perfect time. Like, if you're double queued, this is the time frame that you're actually doing everything. We know that he does have Pyroclasm, so we may get a chance to regen off of this. If we can stick a Thalia down on turn 2, that would be awesome. He does have Dazes. He is going to be on the play, but we do have 5, 7, 9 pieces of discard that we're going to try and take advantage of. And yeah, that'll be where we're sitting there. Do I want to play first? Yes, I want to play first. I'd love a hand that's got land, discard spells, and a Liliana. Like Thoughtseize into him, or Thoughtseize into double Thoughtseize into Liliana. Either of those. I just want to end turn 3 with Liliana in play, making him discard after making him discard at least 3 cards already. We have Thoughtseize. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at pretty rough situation. I'm not going to mulligan this because I have the Thoughtseize. I'm just going to bog immediately and then go into this Thoughtseize and probably Zenith for 0. And that'll get us the Arbor. That'll have us a green source in case we need to. If they Show and Tells and he puts in Emrakul, I can fetch out and lift that back up. So we play for all or we split because I'm lost at the moment. I like to split at the end. I'm just recording, so I can't scoop it up till then. Does that work for you? Okay. So my opponent and I have agreed on a prize split no matter what. So this kind of turns into a fun game, which takes away a little bit of the pressure from it. But at the same time, I mean, there's so much that can go either way. Again, my opponent would rather have the QP than I would because it does literally nothing for me. All right, let's get this Thoughtseize in here. That'll pay for the days if that happens. And then we'll still go ahead for the Green Sun for 0. Maybe. Depending on what we see. Okay. So this is probably a brainstorm from my opponent. We have 15 minutes. I have plenty of time. He's one of the few decks that can go ahead and fetch non-basics and not have it matter too much. So, yeah. And while I would like to save this, I guess I could play the Deathrite Shaman now. Yeah, the Shaman seems like it'll probably be the better choice. He could go ahead and do other things, but yeah. It's an interesting dynamic in this matchup because it all depends basically on how much disruption the discard is able to put on versus how well they're able to set up. I mean, things like this are actually super risky in the sense that, okay, so he's got a Thoughtseize. We are going to take this Gristlebrand and just land the Deathrite Shaman. He's got to land on his side, and it gives him an awkward situation. But what I was saying is that depending on how much we get on our part as being that discard factor, or being that relevant factor, that actually determines whether or not we are able to interact with the opponent or not. And it's because we don't have things like Force of Will. Decks like Bug, like the actual Control Team America style, they're able to interact with this amazingly well. They have discard, they have counter spells, and it creates a situation where the show and tell player doesn't want to be in that matchup. Like, it's just a flat out, I hate this game at that moment. And it's because they can interact with their hand and their stack, which is what the two areas that they actually operate in. Whereas I can operate with graveyard, field, and hand. But by the time that things are going on in hand or in field, it's too late. So being able to fight them on those two fronts is extremely powerful. That being said, there are other decks that I interact with better than the other ones. For instance, Maverick. I interact with Maverick extremely well. I interact with board interactions extremely well. So Elves, while not being an entirely amazing matchup because it's based on how much removal I have, is by far a much better matchup than this. That being said, the sweepers are what really make that matchup. If you can limit the number of elves that are playing a turn, that helps, but a sweeper catches you back up when you're not expecting things to go wrong. And sometimes it's only just them seeing 3 forests and suddenly things go wrong in one turn. If you can limit their hand or do things like that, that also helps. And that's because their hand is an area that I can interact in, that's why that matchup is this way. And I can fight this deck because they have to count on their hand. They're a 2-card combo deck. By the way, if I do find next turn a Wasteland, you can expect to see this one. Let's see, did he shuffle that? I actually don't remember. Match. Cast Preordain. Chooses to shuffle library. Okay, so he took a random off the top. Took the top card of his library. Probably was another Gristlebrand or an Emrakul. But like I said, if we find the Wasteland, my opponent did not have... he did have an Ancient Tomb. Take that back. He had an Ancient Tomb. But he did not have... Okay, that's not what I was hoping for. I'm going to pop this one down. Let's go ahead and exile this. And we're going to grab a white. And we're going to go for these two. If my opponent's show and tells, I'll pop this one down. We'll be able to look pretty far. Then again, this guy's kind of small. My opponent may have just found like a Pyroclasm, in which case this is the better choice. Could have also gotten in for damage. I missed a point of damage there. So, that's a thing. By the way, if you're watching a video from like 8 months ago and you're telling me that I should stop yelling, realize that I did not have a good mic at the time, and that what you were listening to was literally the microphone that's connected to this computer, which was overly sensitive and took everything into consideration. Like, you could hear me if I clicked my nails on my toe. So, please stop telling me that I should stop yelling at you in those videos. I know, it's been resolved. It's been fixed. Here is the potential show. Oh, Red Blood Moon. Nope, Burning Wish. Alright, we're still in a rough situation as we don't have a forest, but we have a surprise forest, which our opponent does not know about yet. Our opponent got show and tell. We're not really going to be able to stop that, I don't think. So, here's hoping for a land. Come on, give me tuna salad. Wasteland would be a land that I'd actually really like. If I saw Wasteland, I would feel very good in the sense that I could call it. Let's just let's go for 0. So, Force of Will. Alright. Probably should have done that for 1. It may have gotten it through. Let's just go ahead and we'll Wasteland this Ancient Tomb. We'll eat that. That'll give us a green mana. And pop that one down. And then we can get in. Probably should have went for this first. Although they may have let that go. They may have had other things. Let's put that stop there. So, like, he could have had a daze at that point, and if I do it that way, then it doesn't work. If I do it for, like, 2, maybe they don't force it. I grab the guy, and then I get to double waste. There's a Lotus Petal. Here's a Show and Tell that we knew was coming. There's our guy, Omniscience, into Ponder. Okay. I'm going to F6 here. There's a possibility that he could just fizzle, in which case we have ways to deal with this. Although it's not very likely. Ooh, double up. Yeah, let's... That's an interesting Ponder. I'm assuming that there's nothing else up there. Let's see, what do we need? If we get another Wasteland, we can waste Bog, drawing a card. That's 3 lands in there, so there's 6s, and that's 13s? Yes. There's a Pride Mage. Pride Mage doesn't do it entirely. I think more importantly than the Pride Mage right now is going to be the Shuffle effect. So let's do this. Alright. Cards on top of my deck. They can go in that order. Let's see. So we're already in range of being just run over that way. The next card on his deck probably doesn't look at more cards in this, because he would have gone for that, I would hope. Unless he shuffled. Did my opponent shuffle? Omniscience. Chose to shuffle library. Okay. And hit a second Omniscience. Good for them. Let's oh, I wanted to float that mana. I guess that could be a big thing if we hit Pulse. It becomes a huge thing. Otherwise, let me see. This is 5, and then we do 2. So let's get the Bayou. Sack, draw a card. We're basically, when we hit him, we want to be able to take away Gristlebrand as an option. So this is going to be 6 damage. Yeah, my opponent says some top decks now would be nice. That did not come out. There we go. Yeah. We may have disconnected again. I don't know what's going on with this router. I understand it's a cheap one, but hold on. Okay, and now we're back. Where were we? Sacking to draw a card. Golgari Charm. Not as useful as it may seem. We're going to get in there this way and still untap my guy. Okay. So had we drawn the Pulse, we still could have pulsed. We can survive, but we don't get a chance to kill my opponent. Let's see. Lands are dead draws. And if it gets back to me, wow. I think we still survive that, though. Yeah, we still survive that. Maybe he gets another turn. He gets another draw, but we can survive 15. Let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 permanents right there. Yep. So we eat the Gristlebrand that's in the yard. That puts us to 16. So there's taking a hit from the Gristle brand. 5 and 6. 199. All right. So the question becomes, does it get back to me? Because if it gets back to me, there's a show and tell. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and concede. I'm going to open up a chat with this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and concede the game. The reason I'm conceding is because I don't want or need the QP. So yeah, if nothing else, I just log into the other account and we go from there. So you all have a good one. I will see you all again.